want to start with a prayer, a Christian prayer. And respectfully, I'd like to invite Madam Frida Stephanie Frimpong to give the opening prayer.
We pray that whatever we're going to do here will be successful. Let your spirit, let your presence be with us, that at the end of the day we have every cause to rejoice and give you glory. We thank you, we bless you, in Jesus' name, amen.
So once again, welcome to the launch of the new Piac logo, at which event the redesigned website and a data dashboard of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee will be made public. We thank you for responding to our invitation. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the following institutions that are here. Business and Financial Times, let's see your hand up. Thank you. Business 24, thank you. Anchor Media, let's see you. Thank you. GNPC, thank you for coming. Particip of GIZ, let's see you, Madam Alote, thank you. The Bank of Ghana, thank you very much for coming. So as and when institutions come, they will be introduced. There are some dignitaries amongst us that will also be introduced. Let me take this opportunity and introduce to us members of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee who are here present. We have Mr. Eric Defo, member representing the Association of Ghana Industries and Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We can give him a round of applause, Mr. Defo. Okay. We have Madam Stephanie Frimpong, member representing the Trades Union Congress, the one who just came and prayed. We have Alhaj Suleiman Ahmad Anderson, member representing the Muslim groups. We have Odefo Amoakwa Bwedu the 8th, member representing the National House of Chiefs. We have Emerita Professor Elizabeth Adefio Shandoff, member representing the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. We have Mr. Nasir Alpha Mohammed, Vice Chairman of the committee, member representing the Ghana Bar Association. Then we have the Chairman of the committee, Professor Kwame Adom Frimpong, member representing the Institute of Chartered Accountants. At the appropriate time, more will be said about Prof. With regards to the role he will play this morning. My name is Isaac Jamina. I am the coordinator of the Piac Secretariat, and I have my other colleagues at the back busily working to ensure the success of this special program of the committee. So to welcome us this morning is someone who has been specially designated so to do. I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Jessica Achampong, to welcome us this morning, we have the Vice Chairman of the committee, Mr. Nasir Alpha Mohammed. Shall we please invite him to welcome us to this morning's occasion?
Thank you so much, Mr. Coordinator. And good morning to all of you. The Deputy Minister for Finance and MP for Ejeso, present here with us, the Honorable Dr. John Kuma, the Chairman and members of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, respected past members of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee here present, invited stakeholders of the Public Interest and Accountability, our partners GIZ and the others, our ever-reliable media partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor to, on behalf of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, welcome you all to this all-important occasion for the launch of the Piac logo, redesigned website, and data dashboard. 12 years of oil production could represent a number of things. It could be a cause for celebration or a reason to pause and reevaluate the journey so far. Are we on the track to averting the resource curse, or we are marking time to be enveloped by the paradox of resource abundance? The threefold statutory mandate of Piac, compliance monitoring, platform for public engagement, and independent assessment, is aimed at enabling Ghana to avert this paradox of resource abundance. Despite the initial infrastructural, technical, and logistical challenges, Piac has admirably carried out its mandate and obligations. These initial challenges are now being addressed to enable the committee work even better. However, in order to enhance its work better, Piac's visibility is important to enable the public appreciates its impact. Although the committee has been accustomed to using the coat of arms as its logo and a website to enhance our work, it has become necessary to enhance the committee's work even better. The result is a new logo and a new redesigned website, the purpose for which we are here this morning. My duty is to welcome all of you to this occasion and to assure you that upon the launch of this new logo and the redesigned website, you will see an even better Piac at its better peak, working for the people of Ghana. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome you all to this occasion. Thank you.
I think another round of applause would not be a bad idea. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chair. Let's continue to acknowledge the following institutions here present. Ministry of Energy. Let's see your hand up. Thank you very much, Ministry of Energy. Star FM. Let's see you. Thank you very much. Cosmos Energy. Cosmos. Thank you very much. Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance. Okay, thank you. Now, this program is being supported ably by the kind courtesy of GIZ, the strong support and collaborators of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. We have here this morning Mr. Kwekulati representing GIZ. Let's see you. Thank you. We have Ms. Christina Reynolds, also from GIZ. Christina? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Now, let me also acknowledge GBC Radio. GBC, let's see you busily working. Thank you very much for coming. Petroleum Commission, thank you very much for responding to our invitation. At this point, I would like to invite my colleague, Ms. Jessica Champon, Communications Officer of Piac, to introduce the chairman for this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Thank you for responding. So I'll go ahead to read the profile of our chairman for today. So our chairman for today is a graduate of the University of Wales, UK, and the University of London. He obtained his doctorate degree in business administration in 2001 from University for Professional Studies, Arcadia, USA. And again, he has a PhD in economics finance from the same university in 2004. He's a visiting professor of Irish University Business School in charge of MBA projects for students in West Africa. Again, he's a visiting professor of Entrepreneurial University Business School of Costa Rica and Ghana Baptist University College in Kumasi. He has been an adjunct lecturer from 2004 to 2018 at GIMPA. Subjects he taught at GIMPA include financial management, accounting for decision making, strategic cost management, investment management, corporate finance, and public sector accounting. Our chairman is also the author of numerous articles and books, including the ISAG Manual of Strategic Financial Management, the Financial System in Ghana, and Public Sector Accounting. He's currently the Managing Director of Mainstream Reinsurance Company and a partner of Adom Boafo and Associates, a firm of chartered accountants and management consultants. He previously worked with PricewaterhouseCoopers as audit supervisor, at SNIT as head of audit, and ABC Brewery Company as senior cost and management accountant. He qualified as a chartered accountant in 1990 and also qualified as a chartered banker in 2002. He's the immediate past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana and a fellow member of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. He's a qualified lawyer and barrister of law, a qualification he obtained from the Ghana School of Law, and is currently a member of the Ghana Bar Association. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to introduce Professor Kwame Adom Frimpong, who is the current chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Piac, as the chairman for this occasion. Please let's acknowledge him with a round of applause as he comes up to give us his address. Mr. Chairman, you are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister was my mate at law school. I don't know how to address him, but he's an Honorable Minister. And members of Piac, stakeholders, institutions, development partners, friends from the media, my own secretarial staff, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be asked to chair this important occasion to launch a new logo for the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. As you are aware, we are here for one purpose, to launch the logo and then relaunch our new developed website and dashboard. But first of all, I would like to thank you for your presence here. I know some of you are in a hurry to go, but you close by 12, so everybody plead with you to stay, including the minister. I'll thank the sponsors, especially our GIZ people, and then CERCO. But I don't know how to describe the appreciation I have to give to you, but you have been of help to us throughout. The money we received from Ministry of Finance, and you have been supporting us so that all the activities you have outlined, we are able to implement it. So we thank you very much for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go back. In 2011, September, Ghana, through the Petroleum Revenue Act 2011, Act 815, started a Piac experiment with the establishment of the Public Interest Accountability Committee to ensure transparency and accountability in the management and use of petroleum revenue in Ghana. This novelty and a shift in paradigm was after Ghana had mined minerals for many years, with little show for the revenue realized. From the very humble beginnings of the first batch of members who blazed the trail and worked without the office, a secretariat or allowance for 2 years through to the following year of limited resources, Piac has gradually but steadily become a relevant voice in the upstream petroleum sector in Ghana. The resilience of Piac has proved unstoppable, defying the odds of years of limited resources and inadequate understanding of Piac mandate. Dear stakeholders, It is with this sense of pride that I humbly observe that academia, civil society, government, and media, and the citizens as a whole have come to see the value in which Piac work is done. In the years, day in and day out, they look forward to the statutory reports. For this enviable feat achieved in the minds of unfriendly circumstances, Piac should be commended and supported to continue this good work. If 23 statutory reports of 11 semi-annual and 12 annual reports engage of citizens in all the 16 administrative regions of the country, engagement of Parliament on its statutory reports, but name but a few, Piac is increasingly extending its frontiers of influence. From the friends from the media, we have gathered here today to witness the launch of new Piac logo. Communication experts, as from your profession, say that a logo is so central to corporate communications that if you don't have a logo, then you are missing an opportunity to make your business stick in minds of your audience. So from now on, whenever you see this new logo we are going to launch, you can identify Piac with it. This helps to bring the committee closer to the citizens of Ghana. To give further boost to fulfill its mandate of providing public platform for citizens' engagement on the utilization of petroleum revenue, the committee has redesigned its website and developed a data dashboard, not only to make relevant data more available to citizens, but also to make it easier for citizens to give feedback to Piac. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude by indicating my acceptance of the role of chairman for this occasion. However, I humbly solicit your unflattering support in order to steer affairs of this occasion to a successful end, where the identity of Piac logo will be launched and redesigned website and data dashboard unveiled. On behalf of my people, that's the committee members and the secretariat, I want to thank you once again for coming. Just feel free, interact, share, and let's make the best out of this time to be spent here. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Please, another round of applause for Prof. Chairman of Piac. Thank you very much. So let me acknowledge the following institutions: ENI, thank you very much. ACEP, Africa Center for Energy Policy, thank you. GNA, Ghana News Agency. GNA, I'm sure they are busily working. BAT Systems, okay. Joy News, okay, thank you, Joy News. All right, so we are continuing the program, and at this point, we would like to take a fraternal message from one of the development partners of Piac. When the chairman was speaking, he made reference to two development partners, GIZ of the German government and SECO of the Swiss government. We have representing SECO, Dr. Hamza Bukhari Zakaria, who is the National Programs Manager. I have deliberately not introduced him since we started because we wanted to give him special introduction, and then he will make his fraternal remarks. Without any further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Hamza Bukhari Zakaria to bring his fraternal message.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chairman, Professor Kwame Adom Frimpong, Chairman of Piac, Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance, MP for the Ejisu constituency, Dr. John Kuma, dear friends, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings from the head of mission and the head of cooperation at the Embassy of Switzerland. It is with immense joy and pleasure that I'm here today to extend and convey their warmest greetings to all of you on this significant day, which is the launch of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee's logo, website, and dashboard. As the National Programs Manager at the Swiss State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, I am honored to stand alongside you as we celebrate a remarkable milestone that reflects our shared commitment to transparency, good governance, and sustainable development. SECO's mission has always been and will always be to foster economic growth and inclusive development while upholding the principles of accountability and sustainability. Our partnership with the GIZ and Piac is a clear testament to our joint commitment and dedication to these values. Ladies and gentlemen, the redesigned Piac website is a digital portal to knowledge and collaboration, and to us, it opens new avenues for engagement and empowerment. It will be a virtual hub where ideas, expertise, and best practices can flourish and transcend geographic boundaries. By harnessing the potential of technology, we create a space where people from various walks of life can contribute to public discussions and dialogue surrounding public infrastructure to enrich our understanding and to shape the future of governance in this country. Of course, the true highlight of today's launch is the data dashboard, an innovative tool that places power of information in the hands of decision makers and citizens. In this age of data-driven insights, the dashboard equips us with the means to make informed choices, hold ourselves accountable, and collectively steer the course of projects towards positive outcomes. This digital interface is a powerful symbol of our commitment to transparency, a conduit through which we demonstrate our resolve to uphold the principles and standards of integrity. As we celebrate this achievement today, I am profoundly grateful to the dedicated teams that have worked tirelessly to bring this vision to life. Your creativity, your diligence, and expertise have culminated in the creation of tools that will shape the landscape of public infrastructure governance for years to come. To all our partners, stakeholders, and fellow champions of progress and transformation, I wish to take this opportunity to thank you for your unwavering support and collaboration over the years. Together, we are optimistic that we shall continue to embark on this journey where innovation and accountability continue to intersect, where technology and principles will continue to combine to pave the way for a brighter future. I take this opportunity once again to congratulate Piac on this remarkable milestone, and here is to a future of transparency, inclusivity, and shared prosperity. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza Bukari Zakaria, for those remarks. Let me welcome the Ghana National Gas Company. Ghana Gas, let's see you. Thank you very much for coming. I have also seen Talo Ghana Limited represented. Mr. Elase is somewhere. Thank you. The Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic, you're here. Let's see you and acknowledge you. Thank you. GMPC Foundation. GMPC Foundation. Okay. Atenka FM. Let's see you. Thank you. Ghana Web. Thank you. Thank you. All right. At this point in the program, we would like to receive remarks from a very special guest of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee this morning. This person has 15 years of experience in entrepreneurship, a lawyer by profession, and a scholar who has a PhD in business development from the Swiss Business School. He is a deputy minister of the Ministry of Finance in charge of wealth creation. Ladies and gentlemen, join me welcome Honorable Dr. John Kuma, who is the Member of Parliament for Edgeso, to make remarks this morning.
Thank you very much, Professor Chairman and my learned friend. When you say we were mates, I remember that I always sat close to where your seat was. And I was wondering why Prof, with all these big qualifications, wanted to add law. Prof is too much learned. And I'm happy that you're putting your resources to the state in what you are doing currently for our country. Nana, thank you for your presence. Members of the committee and all the distinguished invited guests, I bring you special greetings from the Honorable Ken Oforiatta, the Minister for Finance, and his team in the Ministry of Finance. It's always a pleasure to work together with Piac on the management and use of our oil resources as a nation. I want to congratulate you for the launch or the relaunch of your logo and the redesigned website and data dashboard. It is always important to review how you are performing and also renew your mandate to the people of Ghana. And I think this is a very bold step. And I'm here to congratulate you and also to assure you that government is always happy to work with you. I don't think that Ghana or government sees your contribution as a tango between what government does and what you say. In the end, the objective is for the nation to do better with our oil resources. And every criticism we make should be aimed at making the system better. And we are always happy to receive those contributions from Piac. And I want to encourage you to do more. Lately, there has been some discussions in the public space from Nananom and some other concerned Ghanaians. And it's in line with your second objective on the management and use of revenues that conform to development priorities of the nation. Some people have questioned why our interest, Ghana's interest in our extractive industry is limited to maybe 10% or 15% of the resources and not 55% or 60%. I think that discussion must be taken over by Piac, because as government, you know the interest and our limitations. But when such issues are raised vehemently and pushed by Piac, as a nation, I believe we can see changes in the terms, because it is not easy based on contracts we have signed. But everything is possible where there's a will. I hope you understand the coded language I'm putting out there. But for where I sit, there's limits to what we can say. But I want to encourage you. I personally respect the role Piac plays in our public resources, because I'm a firm believer of transparency and accountability and putting to good use public resources. So let us continue to work together. There are so many things we can do. And I think that Piac, from how you are positioned and drafted within the law and as institutions, when we cry about fighting corruption, we can only do it with strong institutions, independent bodies like Piac. And if you are motivated to stand for the nation, I believe going forward, we are all going to see some positive changes to the good use of our own resources as a nation. So I just want to congratulate you, and I'll be happy to share more ideas with you, not on public platforms alone, but one-on-one engagements, especially on your yearly targeting. I have my own thoughts on what you can do to be more influential as far as use of public resources. Not just only on the available resources, but what are some of the potential avenues for more resources to explore in the extractive sector. And we are limited by so many things which we can overcome if institutions like Piac lead the fight. Thank you very much for the opportunity to engage you. Thank you.
We can give another round of applause to those thought-provoking remarks of the minister. I'm sure the chairman was nodding in agreement to some of the statements the minister made, and I believe that follow-up actions will be taken by the committee. So we are proceeding and we are moving on. At this point, we want to take a brief documentary titled The Piac Story. The Piac Story. So we will just sit and watch at that. Thank you.
In July 2007, Tallow Oil and Cosmos Energy discovered oil in commercial quantities off the west coast of Ghana. The Jubilee field, so christened by Ghana in commemoration of its 50th anniversary of independence, thus became a commercial oil and gas producer, with reserves estimated at 700 million barrels of oil and 800 billion cubic feet of gas. Development of the field was done on a fast-track basis, and in December 2010, oil production was officially launched.
Today, we are pouring out our first oil from the Jubilee field. And we must give thanks to God for giving us this natural asset.
At a time when oil prices were very high, thus piquing interest in oil, Ghana's discovery of a significant oil find, which was deemed world-class, attracted global attention, including from international oil companies. The need to ensure that operations were undertaken well so as to inure to the benefit of Ghanaians could not be overemphasized. While some saw the production of oil in commercial quantities as a catalyst for growth, as its revenues would provide massive financial resources needed to address the huge infrastructure gap in the country, others were worried about how the corrosive effect of oil wealth could create the proverbial oil curse, as seen in neighboring oil-rich African states.
We felt that if God has blessed us with another natural resource, this resource has to be able to function well to the benefit of Ghanaians, and because of that, some of us met and decided, let's try as much as possible to get the government to realize that this particular type of venture is an important one, because we found the accountability and transparency issues with the gold industry had not really boded well for this country. And that was the inception of Piac.
With over a century of mining of mineral resources and very little to show for it, there were attempts to ensure efficiency in the management of the emerging oil and gas sector. Forums were organized to solicit input into the development of the governance framework for oil and gas, but opportunity for civil society organizations' participation in the process was limited. Subsequently, a consultative CSOs forum was organized in Mankasim in the central region to help collate the input of the group into a national consultative dialogue planned to be held at GIMPA in February 2008. The GIMPA Forum determined that Ghana's Petroleum Exploration and Production Law, PNDC Law 84, enacted in 1984, was not fit for purpose and therefore needed to be overhauled or replaced. This, however, was not done until 2016, when the outdated law was replaced with the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 2016, Act 919. As a result of the delay in addressing the gaps in the law, disputes that arose between the state and some of the Jubilee partners in the intervening period, bordering on responsibility for pollution, infringement on GNPC's proprietary right to geoscience data, and the country's right of first refusal in the disposal of assets couldn't be addressed within PNDC's Law 84.
I got support from development partners to organize a civil society preparatory meeting where ordinary citizens, organized and unorganized, determined that they want to be part of the governance arrangements for the petroleum sector. And so I carried this over to the Oil for Development Conference when I had the opportunity to chair the governance session. And from then on, there were a series of engagement, consultations that eventually led to a framework that provided for citizens' involvement in the management of and use of petroleum revenues in the form of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee.
From the Mankasim consultations, civil society organizations began to push for inclusion in the governance arrangements in the petroleum sector. It was clear they did not want to leave the management of the resource entirely in the hands of politicians and technocrats alone. They demanded an additional public oversight role to ensure that duty bearers are properly held accountable for the management of petroleum revenues. The Petroleum Revenue Management Act 2011, which seeks to guide the spending of petroleum revenues, was the first law to be enacted 3 years after the consultations in March 2011.
When the Revenue Management Act was now done and Piac was put into it, when it now got to Parliament, parliamentarians at the time felt that it was a duplication of parliamentary work and that it was up to Parliament to supervise how these funds should be spent. And so they took quite a lot of the clauses out of the Revenue Management Act that they felt were duplication of their work. And one of them was Piac. So some of us went to Parliament, myself, Honorable Amin. We were then asked to go and defend it. So the team met, outlined everything, and we went into Parliament, and it was a heated discussion, very heated discussion with the Mines and Energy Committee. But luckily in the end, they saw what we were talking and the arguments we were putting forward, and then decided to reinstate nearly all the clauses that were taken out. And that was the beginning of real putting Piac together.
The Public Interest and Accountability Committee was subsequently established under Section 51 of the PRMA to, among others, monitor and evaluate compliance with the Act. The committee was inaugurated and commenced work on 15 September 2011 without any funds to facilitate its operations.
Revenue Watch and some other NGOs, international NGOs like GIZ, they came together, saw the need to keep the committee going, because as at that time, no provision had been made for our funding, no provision had been made for offices, secretariat, nothing. We were just there. Our first report came out in 2012. Included in our terms of reference in the law was a requirement to hold public fora, but it did not restrict the number and so on and so forth. And so we saw an opportunity to propagate our reports by holding regional debates throughout the country. So in the first year, after launching the report itself and making it available to the press, we also undertook a trip to the Western region and the Ashanti region. Those are the two big regions where, if you like, are the metropolitan regions. And judging from the reaction of the people who attended, we were quite satisfied that we were on the right track.
For a committee that has been established by law, one would wonder why it had to rely on donor support to be able to carry out its mandate as prescribed in the law. Initially, resources were provided by GIC to fund Piac programs, including compilation and publication of statutory reports. NRGI made office space available for Piac to use as its secretariat for about 18 months, but did not provide direct funding.
We inherited a lot of problems on the grounds that funds were not forthcoming. And thanks to the media, they talked a lot on our behalf. And as a result, donor funding was coming. And I'm happy that the NRGI, Natural Resources Governance Institute, wrote a lot of proposals with the former chairman, Major Ablo. And when he was leaving office, these proposals materialized. We didn't have the technical men, so we served as technical men on the technical committee. So we collect the data, meet for about 2 weeks, come out with a dummy, and then give it to a consultant. Yes, this went on during my period for that purpose. And we were finding things a little bit difficult until the Deputy Minister of Finance saw that we are in their need of a vehicle. So they invited me, interviewed me, and then put my problems before her. That is accommodation. But they saw the need that we need a vehicle. So a V8 vehicle as a surprise was given to me. Even the minister was making a fund. Take it to Cape Coast. Anytime that you are coming, you bring it along. Then I said that this vehicle was purposely given to us to facilitate easy administration and management of Piac.
The committee thus expanded its public engagement to cover both districts and regions. It was also able to start monitoring of projects that had received funding from the ABFA. The establishment of the Piac Secretariat to help the committee in its work was provided for by the Act. After the committee was established in 2011, there was no functional secretariat, partly due to the inadequate funding. The current coordinator, Isaac Dramina, who joined the secretariat at the inception stage, recounts the difficulties back then.
I happened to have joined the secretariat in 2012, and at the time, I met a national service person. She was the only staff the secretariat then, if we would even call it a secretariat, had. And when I joined, I had to do almost everything. We didn't have an office. I think our office was the conference room for the Revenue Watch Institute then, which later became the Natural Resource Governance Institute. I virtually had to do everything from drafting letters to printing to going to deliver them, everything. And this continued until the national service person completed her service and left.
The technical manager provides an overview of the provision made to beef up the secretariat.
There was the need through a DFID-led and NRGI-supported study that there's the need to beef up the manpower capacity of the committee to carry out and fulfill its mandate. So in 2015, there was a recruitment process, and then I was brought on board to head the technical department. I had an assistant also brought on board at that time, and the mandate given to us was that in the shortest possible time, we should take over the writing of the committee's report. That was very central to our recruitment, because at that time, we were outsourcing the writing of the committee's report to consultants. But then there was the need to have an in-house capacity that will take over the writing of the report in order to speak to the content of the report through media engagement, citizen engagement, and also when we engage with relevant stakeholders like Parliament, Ministry of Finance, and also the Presidency.
The finance manager explains that government now fully funds Piac.
In 2018, they were doing 50-50%, so it was like a transition to able to hand over to government to fully fund Piac. So in 2019, government was now doing 70, and the donor was now doing 30. Then 19, government took over. Donor actually ended in 19, and the government took over fully in 2020. So 2020 till now, we've been fully funded by government, and I can say on authority that our funds have been released to us, though sometimes delays, but we do get our full funding within the period, and we're able to take on our activities.
For a committee that had such a difficult start, it has achieved a lot in ensuring transparency in the management of the country's petroleum revenue. Piac has in the last 10 years carried out its threefold mandate of monitoring and evaluation compliance with the PRMA, providing space and platform for public debate, and carrying out independent assessment of the management and use of petroleum revenues to assist Parliament and the Executive in the oversight and the performance of related functions. The responsiveness of the reporting institutions has also improved significantly in the last 10 years.
Petroleum resources will finish at some point. And when it finishes, then the revenue, we don't have it any longer. So whatever we have, we should invest it in a very targeted way, that it becomes a lasting benefit even for future generations. So you will realize that the Petroleum Revenue Management Act delineates how that should be done. And over time, we have realized that government have not been very consistent with some of the provisions, and that is a worry. However, a few things have been done. For instance, if you look at, you check the Piac reports, we have done some investments with the petroleum revenue, which can have a lasting benefit into the future. In the time that even petroleum resources are over, there will be something to show off. For instance, the Kotoka Terminal 3 of the Kotoka International Airport has benefited from petroleum revenue, even though not entirely. It is not the petroleum revenue entirely that built it, but it's received from. So at least we can lay claim to it.
10 years is long enough for the committee to reflect on what it has done and how it can help strengthen the need for more accountability and transparency in the management of the country's petroleum revenues. The committee has successfully ignited awareness in the ordinary people about the country's oil resources.
Listen to the name of the committee. It's a public interest and accountability committee. And that is where I think Piac needs to focus its attention now. How do we make a critical transition from transparency to accountability, which is the essence of a committee? And so I would say Piac has achieved a lot in terms of promoting transparency, but a lot remains to be done on the accountability front. And to do that may require some amendments to the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, perhaps to give Piac more powers, if not, to ensure that at least there's some level of collaboration between Piac and the state accountability authorities, so that at least they are able to follow up on the findings of Piac in terms of bringing some finality to the malfeasance that are unearthed in Piac's reports.
For Technical Manager Obeng Edu Ajiman, the immense impact of Piac is evident in the reports the committee has published.
Are you going to have this conversation with regards to gold revenue, or diamond revenue, or timber revenue? You won't. We are having this conversation because of Piac. That every 6 months, Piac will issue a report accounting for how petroleum revenue has been utilized. We don't have such conversation around minerals revenue. So, by and large, that has been the impact of the committee. That every 6 months, citizens and relevant stakeholders look forward to the committee issuing an accounting report on how the state has expended and managed our petroleum revenue. There have been a lot of impact with regards to the committee's work. A lot of impact. When GMPC decided to sponsor our national football team, the Black Stars, through the feedback from citizens, we realized that that was not the way to prudently use petroleum revenue. We made a recommendation to Parliament, and Parliament actually directed GMPC to put an end to that sponsorship. That's an impact.
The existence of Piac, to a large extent, makes sure that government's decisions on spending of oil revenue is targeted at the areas which they had set themselves to do in the budget.
10 years on, Piac continues to highlight issues that require attention in the management of petroleum revenue. The revenue continues to be used as counterpart funding for projects, making it difficult to measure the impact of the use of the revenue. The ABFA continues to be spread thinly on projects, and the selection of the priority areas continue to be guided by the medium-term framework of succeeding governments instead of the default position of the law that requires spending to be guided by a long-term national development plan. The PRMA, which created Piac, is currently under review. What does this mean for Piac and its existence?
There's a lot of transparency under the PRMA, but Piac is not empowered to basically hold accountable people that have engaged in violations of the PRMA. So when we went on the tours, there was this frequent advocating by people that Piac should be vested with prosecutorial powers. Now, Piac is not necessarily of the position that it should be granted prosecutorial powers in order to hold people accountable. Now, the approach could be that when Piac uncovers all these malfeasances, etc., that these matters should be referred to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to do investigation into the matter and, where need be, engage in prosecution of those that are found to have engaged in violations of the PRMA.
Unless and until Piac is given enough teeth to bite, sharper teeth than those of the babies, we are not going anywhere.
What then can be done to ensure Piac continues to play its role effectively and ensure that the country achieves optimum benefit from this natural resource? Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong is current chairman of Piac.
Our mandate is to monitor petroleum revenue. As far as the petrol extraction is still in process, and we continue to perform or carry on our mandate. I see Piac in the next 10 years, as far as the process continues, I'm sure there will be an improvement more than what we have even done. And Ghana will benefit a lot as far as developmental purposes are concerned. As you are aware, that's one of our limitations. You see the drawbacks, you bring it out, but you don't have any enforcement power to enforce it. So it will be one of my proposals, whether you can have power to prosecute those who go against the rules, that is the act. If you are able to get that one, then you see how powerful Piac could be.
With a 10-year history of immense impact, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee is largely a success story, one of policing the management and use of the country's oil resources to ensure the ordinary citizen benefits.
I congratulate the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Piac, on the celebration of its 10th anniversary, and I'm grateful for the invitation to participate in this important occasion and make this brief address.
In the year 2021, Piac is celebrating 10 years under the theme Strengthening Citizens' Ownership and Understanding of Piac and its oversight of petroleum revenue management with a number of activities. Piac has been a bastion of transparency, probing and succeeding largely at the difficult work of extracting accountability from an industry that is still making strides in transparency. But there's more room as Piac leadership continue to shift from transparency to accountability and demand more accountability from government on the management and use of revenue accruing from the oil and gas industry in Ghana.
Someone whispered to me asking whether this video is on YouTube for him to be able to access it for further work. Well, Piac will look at these proposals and see. All right, so as we continue, let's acknowledge Metro TV. Metro TV, are you here? Let's see your hand up. Thank you. Peace FM. Let's see your hand. Peace FM. Thank you. The Finder newspaper. Okay. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, thank you very much for coming. Energy Commission, thank you. NRGI, thank you. And then SIDA, thank you. All right, so we are continuing. Let me acknowledge this Piac member, Mr. Bashir Abdul Razak, representing the Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Then also Dr. Emmanuel Yamuatenkran, representing civil society organizations on the committee. Thank you very much for coming. At this point, we want to take a presentation on the new logo by the chairman of the Public Affairs and Communications Subcommittee of Piac, Mr. Eric Defo. Shall we please invite him?
Good morning again. I'd like to apologize for my voice this morning when I woke up. It sounded a bit croaky, but this responsibility was one I took very seriously, and therefore I'll do my best to do this presentation to your hearing. We are here today to launch a new logo, and a lot of questions will be asked as to why now. So I'll give a little background before we go into the presentation. The history of Piac has been told, and the challenges that came with its activities, because the law that established Piac did not provide for its funding. So they had to struggle But to create an identity for itself, it picked the coat of arms and then added its name in the real sense of the meaning of a logo that is not a logo. And the reason is that a logo is a visual that is identifiable, understandable, and it's related to a company or an entity. But if you look at what we've been using as a logo, I don't know if these elements can be found in there. So over time, it became necessary that there's been some misconception in the public space as to what Piac really stands for. People do not understand the work of Piac. Some people think that we manage the oil. So we are attacked sometimes when we have our public engagements that they haven't seen anything we have done with the oil money. But our function is actually to monitor the revenue and how it is utilized. So we don't have any business really with the oil itself. Over the years, let me see which one. Okay. So this is the outline that the presentation will take. There will be an introduction, Piac's old identity, the need to transition, what is the new logo, and what is next for Piac. As you've heard before, the PRMA Act 815 established Piac September 2011, and the committee was given a clear mandate to take oversight and responsibility to ensure the transparency and accountability in the management of use of Ghana's petroleum revenues. Piac's work primarily focused on issuing yearly statutory reports on the management and use of the petroleum revenues and ensuring compliance by statutory institutions and stakeholders in the PRMA, and then also engaging citizens and reporting to them and taking feedback from the citizens, as well as inspecting projects that have received funding from petroleum revenues. Now, these are the key milestones. We were established in 2011, issued our first report in 2012, then we started district engagements in 2016, acquired office space in 2019, celebrated our 10th anniversary in 2021, and here we are launching our new identity in 2023. Now, I think I jumped the gun in trying to tell you what the old identity was. But after the coat of arms was picked to give legitimacy to the institution, we just added the name. Now, after 12 years, people still don't know what this means. Having the logo, the coat of arms and then the name there doesn't really speak to what the institution does. Public interest and accountability committee. There's no relationship to petroleum or its revenues there at all. So there was a need to transition, and we took the decision after the celebration of our 10th anniversary. We went through a very rigorous process, opened a public tender for design. We received some designs which were not very satisfactory, so we rejected all of them. Went through another process. We kept going through this until finally a designer popped up something that most of the members were satisfied with. So the committee went through additional reviews to make sure that whatever logo we came out with will stand the test of time. It may not need to be reviewed in a short while. We also laid emphasis on the fact that Piac, it's more common in the public space than Public Interest and Accountability Committee, very long name. So the acronym Piac had to be marketed. So we have the attributes of the new logo, the features that have actually gone into it. We've maintained the coat of arms to symbolize the legitimacy of Piac as a statutory institution. Then there's a black shade in the logo, which represents the crude oil, popularly referred to as black gold. Then there's an image of an oil rig, which also depicts extracting a petroleum resource for national development. Then you find a drop of refined oil, and then the CD sign, which also symbolizes revenue generated from the crude oil produced. And then we chose two colors, gold and black, the black to signify the crude oil, and the gold to represent wealth. The new logo therefore signifies the industry we operate in, the resource and the revenues that we are managing or we are overseeing as our mandate prescribes. Piac has ensured that efficient utilization of petroleum revenues over the years, and this new phase is to help solidify that role and to present us as an institution whose mandate can be identified by its logo. Okay. So this is what we have now. And I'm sure you are expectant of what this whole new logo is about. So that is why you see the question mark there. Thank you. Whether the logo comes or not, I'm done.
All right, so the suspense continues. Let's give a round of applause again to Mr. Defo. It's interesting. He's left us hanging, and there's need to bring closure. So we're going to see a short video on the elements he has mentioned come together to form the logo. After which, we shall have the chairman of Piac, the Honorable Deputy Minister, come and then unveil the physical representation of the logo to all of us. So let's see the elements Mr. Defo has mentioned come together to form the logo.
The Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Piac, unveils its new logo. This new logo represents the evolution and dynamism of the committee. It retains the coat of arms, symbolizing Ghana's unity and pride, while adding bold and modern elements to represent Piac's role in the petroleum revenue management space. The black shade in the logo symbolizes the production of crude oil, popularly referred to as black gold, which forms the basis for Piac's existence. The gold CD sign reflects the wealth created from crude oil production and its extraction. The drop of oil and oil rig stand for the resource and its extraction to create wealth for the citizens of Ghana. And finally, Piac's corporate colors. Black signifies crude oil, and the gold stands for wealth generated from the production of crude. Today, we stand on the cusp of a new chapter in Piac's history. With pride and enthusiasm, we unveil the new logo, a symbol of growth, evolution, and unwavering dedication to transparency and accountability as a watchdog over Ghana's petroleum revenues. In summary, The logo signifies that Piac plays a key role in ensuring that revenues from the production of crude oil are utilized in a manner that benefits all citizens. Piac, safeguarding Ghana's petroleum revenues.
So, respectfully, would like to invite Professor Kwame Adom Frempong, the Deputy Minister and the Vice Chair of Piac, to unveil the logo.
With me, Deputy Minister of Finance, John Kuma, to unveil this logo.
We can give them another round of applause. That's the new identity of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Piac for short. So wherever and whenever you see this, this is the new identity of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Piac. Having done the main thing, the committee now writes on the launch of the logo to also put out some publicity channels which it uses. Now, the Piac website has been on for some years, but over the years, some feedback from our public engagements has been that there are no feedback avenues for the public to reach the committee. So as part of the 10th anniversary the committee celebrated last 2 years, they decided that the website should be redesigned. And once again, we reiterate the support of GIZ and SECO in the redesign of the website with the enhancements brought to it. My colleague David Sefa Eje is going to make a brief presentation on the new features introduced and then the data dashboard to all of us to see the resources that are now available. David, please come on.
Good morning once again. Okay, so I'm riding on the excitement of the Piac logo launch to also introduce to you the redesigned website and the data dashboard. Okay, so Piac developed its website in 2012 with the aim of creating a linkage between the public and the committee and also sharing information on the website, information on Piac reports and any other information that the committee wanted to share with the public. So the old website was published in 2012. Now, although the existing website served its purpose, it wasn't robust, and the user experience wasn't enhanced and had limitations. For instance, as Piac, we value the feedback from the public. The old websites did not give us that feature. We couldn't get any feedback from the public. And also, because of security issues, the pages too were static. So there was a need to bring the website to modern standards, make it more user-friendly with enhanced user experience. So the committee in 2012, alongside working on the Piac logo, also decided to redesign its website. With the support of SECO and implemented by GIZ, the committee was able to redesign its website. Now, the website still runs on Piac's domain, so www.piacghana.org, and it can be accessed at all times. So as we speak, the website is live. Immediately the Piac logo was launched, the redesigned website also went live. So you can visit www.piacghana.org to access the new website. So the new website comes with easier navigation features. There is a search functionality. You can easily search for information, any information that you need on the site without visiting the specific tabs on the site. The website is also compatible on both your desktop machines and also on mobile devices. It comes with improved security as well. It's now faster to load. You can load the pages faster, and then you can get access to all the information that you need at a faster pace. So we encourage all to visit the website. And so I'll briefly go through the redesigned website. If you can click on it. Okay, voila. This is our new website. So as I indicated, the user experience has been enhanced. If you scroll downwards, we have Piac reports. You can easily access Piac reports. We have our Piac statistics. And then this new feature, Piac polls. As time goes on, the committee will put in a question and will solicit viewers or those who visit the website to indicate their preference, probably a choice. Do you think Ghana is utilizing its petroleum revenues wisely, yes or no? Then you pick your answer and you'll be able to see the results. Now, if we scroll downwards, we have a message from the Piac chairman. Let's go down a bit. Okay, so we see our news and publications. So any new news item will also pop up here. And we have a snapshot of key metrics in the upstream petroleum industry. So you can see the number of barrels of oil produced. We have the total liftings, a summary of the total receipts, and how much has been distributed, also showing on the new website. Events and programs too will also be updated as we have new events. Okay, so lastly on this page, you can see some spaces there. This is an avenue to create a mailing list. So you can put in your name and your email address, and once you do that, Piac will have access to that information, and you'll be the first to have access to our reports or any events or anything that the committee would like to share. You'll be the first to receive it. So we will kindly ask that visit the site and then put in your information so that we'll have this mailing list and we'll share information. All right, so let's go to the top of the website. Okay, so there is this button on your top left, join discussions. So you can, when you go there, you can also put in your any information or any feedback that you want the committee to have access to, any suggestion, questions. You can go there and then you can put in your information there. So there is a search button too. Right down below the Join Discussions tab, there is a search button. As I indicated, you can quickly search for any information that you want. Okay, thank you. So we want all of you, even as you are seated here, you can visit the site to also have a feel of it. So back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so our previous website also had reports. In fact, the current one also has these reports. Now, these reports are in hard formats. You see PDFs, Word versions, and other static reports on our website. And this is not synchronized. It's not aggregated, so you cannot easily do your analysis. If you want to do your analysis, you have to sit down and then put all the figures together. So based on feedback from the public, the committee also decided to work on a dashboard that will be able to synchronize all the data that we have scattered in our various reports and on our website. So the data dashboard is integrated in the committee's website. It presents data in a simple yet visually compelling format. Now, with the support of SECO and implementation by GIZ, the committee was able to develop this data dashboard. The dashboard mainly covers data on production, oil and gas production. We have data on liftings. There is data on receipts, how much revenue the country has derived from its oil resources. We also have data on achieved prices, distribution of revenues, where has the petroleum revenues, in which areas have they been utilized. You have information on that. And also, you will see all the ABFA projects in there. So all the projects that the petroleum revenues have been used to implement, you can also find it on the dashboard. So on the dashboard, you see a variety of charts, slices, graphs, and some tables also in there depicting key metrics in the upstream petroleum industry. So I'll quickly show a summary of the dashboard. So in summary, we have a visual on total production. We have total volumes lifted. We have that of the Ghana group and then the other partners, what each of them have lifted. You can see there. And then we have total receipts, total petroleum receipts also there. And then the distribution, in which areas that the petroleum revenues have gone into. So on my left, you see a little tab there that shows the breakdown. We have production, we have liftings, receipts, distribution. Distribution also contains the ABFA projects and other uses petroleum revenues have been or have gone into. So this is a snapshot. After the event, there will be a session where we can take participants through the dashboard itself. We can see what is in production, liftings, receipts, and then distribution. So, thank you.
I think we can give another round of applause. So these are the tools of communication that Piac has to offer, relating its messages to the public. First, it's its new identity, and then the redesigned website with enhancements, and then the novelty of the data dashboard. I encourage and see the numbers presented differently that are very appealing to the eye. At this point, we would like to take the closing remarks of the chairman. Shall we please invite Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong for his closing remarks?
Well, the occasion has come to an end. And I know members of the committee and my friends from the media. We came to launch the logo, and we have done it. We came to show you the redesigned dashboard, and we have done it. So what else again? The only thing I would say is thank you very much for whether we can get even 20 participants. But when I did some short counting, I can get more than 50, which is remarkable. So I thank you all very much, especially our sponsors. You can't go without mentioning your name, SECO and GIZ. This is not the end. They are going to continue. I even made a request for them to send us to oil and gas conference in Houston, US. They told me I should wait small. You see, any request you make to them, they honor it for us. And we appreciate it. Without them, we can't perform to the level we have reached now. So we thank you very much. Our friends, media, you are a spokesperson. You don't have any prosecutorial powers. So if you come out with something, if they like, they will do it. If they don't like, they won't do it. And most of the time, you find it difficult for implementation. But with you, In the letter we have done today, FM stations, everybody wants me to come and talk. And that one gives us access to the general public to carry out our mandate. So we thank you all very much. Just get yourself into the activities of Piac for us to carry our only 3 mandates, which enshrine the law. And I'm sure by so doing, the people of Ghana will hear about how our petroleum management is managed. On that note, I thank you very much, and I bring this session to a close. So it is a delight and my duty as a chairman to bring this meeting and then this occasion to a successful end. Thank you very much.
Colleague Philomena Otabel, our senior admin officer, to complete the vote of thanks pseudo that Chair gave.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So all too soon, the program has come to an end, and our chairman has thanked you enough, so I'm here to reiterate. A special thanks to the Honorable Deputy Minister for gracing this occasion with his august presence and delivering a thought-provoking message. Our heartfelt gratitude to GIZ and SECO for their immeasurable financial support to the committee and also making this occasion a reality. To our stakeholders, media, and partners, we are grateful to you for being part of this historical event. To our members, we appreciate your immeasurable support to the committee and secretariat in making this program a success. And to my own secretariat, for your unflinching support and determination to go through this organization successfully. I would like to end by reading a line from William Shakespeare's 12th Night, which says, "No other answer can I make but to say thank you, and ever thank you." Thank you.
So after the closing prayer is said, we have the user experience. The screens are there for us to go through the data dashboard a bit more if you want to know more. So there are 2 screens. There's one here and there's the other. So you can choose where you want to be. The secretarial staff standing by the screens to walk you through the various pages of the dashboard. Lunch should be ready hopefully by the time the user experience is done, so that you go home or you go to your offices with at least with lunch having been taken. On this note, I'd like to invite Alhaj Suleiman Ahmad Anderson, member representing Muslim groups, to say the closing prayer. A special request for a group photograph involving everybody after the closing prayer at the lobby. So please don't rush to leave. We need your image. So after the prayer, we will stay for the photograph.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coordinator. May I crave your indulgence to be on our feet, since we've sat down for quite a long time now for this prayer. Shall we pray? Almighty Allah, most gracious and ever merciful, we owe you thanks of gratitude for having guided us through this program to a very successful end. Lord, it was your gift of life that gave us the opportunity today to meet and to launch this beautiful logo of Piac. Going forward, it is all your guidance and grace which will guide us in the future. Even as we close and depart from here, Lord, you will continue to be in thy protection. Please protect us to our various destinations, to meet our loved ones, and to continue with the works that we are yet to do in our various places. Lord, we thank you once again and pray that as we depart here, everybody gets home safe
and sound. This we ask because you are the hearer of prayer. Do you accept our humble supplication? I mean, thank you.